Now at 9, an SUV this morning rear-ended a Joplin school bus. Plus, how a local organization is supporting literacy. And some Pitt State students take on a mission to revitalize a community garden.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Aubie. No one thankfully was injured when an SUV rear-ended a Joplin school bus earlier today. The bus was loaded with Joplin students headed to Soaring Heights Elementary this morning. The school district says parents were contacted. Most of the students were taken to school on another bus, while some were transported by parents. Once at school, the students were checked by district nurses. Neosho, Missouri police say a man is dead after a crash involving a drunk driver. The crash happened around 7:30 last night on Neosho Boulevard. Authorities say pickup pulled into traffic and was hit by 2 other vehicles. There were 2 people in the bed of the pickup who were ejected in the crash. One of those people and the driver suffered moderate injuries. The other, 39-year-old Jeremy Olmstead of Neosho, was killed. The 2 other drivers were uninjured. Police found the driver of the pickup was under influence at the time. Formal charges are pending. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joining us now. I'm loving these temperatures, just great.
Yeah, especially the overnight lows and then into the morning hours. The afternoons, of course, we're still hot as we made it up to 86 today. Started at 61, right about where our normal high is for this time of the year. Clear skies outside right now. 72, Lamar 73 in Anderson. Pittsburgh at 73. Miami is sitting at 72 degrees. Through the morning, we'll warm through the 60s, 70s, into the lower 80s. By the noon hour, high temp of 87. Of course, we're going to look at some rain chances here in just a bit.
Thank you, as always. A local adult literacy organization is hosting air balloon rides to promote reading. KOAM's Amber Jenkins says more.
Joplin's Neighborhood Adult Literacy Action says about 11,000 adults in Newton and Jasper counties have low literacy levels. The organization focuses on promoting and improving adult literacy in the community.
So important for Joplin Naylor Reed to offer free classes and free services. Everything is also everything is confidential.
The second annual Literacy Liftoff is meant to bring the community together while promoting literacy.
It is just a fun, free community event, but it is our biggest fundraiser of the year, so it helps raise funds so that we can provide services free of charge to the community.
Literacy is a skill that everyone needs constant practice.
Of many students who've come to us over the years who have gone from poverty and then been able to increase their skills, get a better job, move up. We have some who've even started their own businesses later.
Our literacy can uplift you higher than a hot air balloon. Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Joplin Neighborhood Adult Literacy Action has been serving the community now ever since 1981. Crowder College is now in possession of a collection of books about the Civil War. Dr. Daniel Sutherland is a retired history professor from the University of Arkansas. He's also written more than a dozen books about the Civil War. Today, he donated those books to Crowder.
There's so much Civil War history right here, and the reason we're so excited about this collection is there is nothing like it anywhere in our region. This is the most extensive Civil War collection that I have ever seen physically compiled in one place at any library. And so I'm really excited about being able to offer that to our community that does have a passion for history and has a passion for the Civil War.
The collection is available in the Lee Library at Crowder. Pittsburgh State University students have taken a leadership role with the community garden at the First Christian Church in Pittsburgh. KOAM's Yana Hatala visited the students as they started breaking ground earlier today.
A student-led organization, PSU Enactus, at Pittsburgh State wants to bring the First Christian Church's community garden back to life.
Nobody was volunteering due to COVID, all of those kind of things, so we've just started picking it up, trying to get our own volunteers from the school and the community around us.
Besides the lettuce, tomatoes, and carrots that they already planted, they started breaking ground and plant nearly 180 transplants of cabbage and broccoli. Later this year, 450 pounds of these products will be donated to the Lord's Diner here in Pittsburgh.
I'm really excited that they're going to get fresh foods as it's more nutritious and it's, everyone enjoys it better. Just have it available so they're given a choice. They're not forced to buy canned foods or just go without entirely.
The local diner that serves cooked meals to anyone in need appreciates the effort the PSU students are putting in.
We have some local farmers that donate to us as well, and just with them doing it, it's made a huge difference for us. So just having another big garden and source of that coming in is going to be huge.
With the fresh produce, they could possibly make salads or other sauces or sides to mix with foods.
Just to give back to our own community is big, and it's all local, and it's going to be, healthy, and it's going to be fresh.
Gallup says once they get the products harvested, she would like to see how people feel about the outcome.
I'd love to go help and serve it and see what this means to other people.
In Pittsburgh, Janna Haudala, KOAM News.
In its earlier days, the community garden donated fresh produce to Wesley House. How do you tell the world it's lost an icon? After the death of Queen Elizabeth II, a carefully planned dissemination campaign went into effect designed to lessen the impact of her passing. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has these details now from London.
May God bless you all.
Since being crowned in 1952, it's hard to imagine the United Kingdom without Queen Elizabeth II on the throne.
My whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service.
But now that the world's longest-serving monarch has died, Operation London Bridge, the carefully coordinated plan to spread the news, is in motion. Before the general public found out, the Queen's private secretary informed the Prime Minister with the phrase, "London Bridge is down," triggering the operation. Within minutes, government officials received the message across secure channels.
It's the Prime Minister's job then to contact governments outside of the UK where the Queen is head of state, along with the Commonwealth nations.
Following tradition, a footman in mourning clothes posted a black-edged death notice on the gates of Buckingham Palace. The palace's website transitioned into a single page, and the royal social media went black.
There is a strict no retweet protocol.
At the same time, a simultaneous alert was sent to select international media. All BBC programming in the country is now running a dedicated news feed. The network's traditionally red banners switching to black. British news anchors and reporters wearing the required black suits and ties, which are kept on standby at all times. A blue light flash signaled radio stations to immediately start their coverage of Queen Elizabeth's death. Many TV, radio stations, and newspapers will run days of coverage prepared ahead of her passing. Within minutes of the announcement, flags across the UK were lowered to half-staff. Bells tolled around London, and the country entered an official 12-day mourning period. Immediately upon Queen Elizabeth's death, Prince Charles became the next King of England. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Gabriel Clevenger has served in the U.S. Marines. We are proud to thank and salute Private First Class Gabriel Clevenger, a native of Pitcher, Oklahoma, tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas hitting the road for a big MIAA matchup against Nebraska Kearney. Gonna have the latest in sports.
Well, of course, another fantastic day for us today. Temperatures mid to upper 80s, very consistent to what we have seen most of the week. We have clear skies outside, still clear skies. Nice shot of our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort in Seneca, Missouri, and we'll continue to see clear skies sticking around as we go into the weekend. Then our next storm system is going to roll in, giving us at least some chances for showers and thunderstorms. Let's start Saturday morning. Quick warm up, upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Look at the rain out to our west. This is Saturday afternoon. Cold front's going to sweep in. Most of the showers are going to stay to our north, but I do think we'll get some scattered light showers that kind of pass through as we go into Saturday night and into Sunday morning. We obviously need a little bit of rain. Any showers we do have should mainly be out of here by early on Sunday, and then we'll get the northerly winds, and this is going to usher in a little bit cooler air mass by the time we head into the beginning of the weekend. Now, until then, we stay dry. Temperatures for us today, mostly mid-80s, Missouri, near 90 into lower 90s once you got out into southeastern Kansas, 72 now in Mount Vernon, 72 in Miami, 71 Veneta, Neodesha at 79. 7th and Rangeline sitting at 73. Easterly winds are light. Humidity at 68%. We have clear skies. The entire Central Plains, clear skies, nothing going on. We got Hurricane K. Look at this. Look how close it is to southern parts of California, which is a little atypical. Here's our next storm system, the one that is building up across the northern parts of the plain. So let's go through time. Let's step through time during the overnight hours tonight. We drop back lower 60s. You can see kind of a light southerly wind for us tomorrow. Lower 80s by noon. And as we get into the afternoon, I think most of us upper 80s to lower 90s once again. 92 Chanute, 91 Fredonia, Coffeyville, up to about 92 degrees. Few little clouds start to stream in by Saturday morning. We'll start out in the upper 50s, and then Saturday afternoon, we're going to warm right back up into the upper 80s to near 90 once again. Look at the rain increasing to our northwest, so we'll get some of these scattered showers in here by the time we head into Saturday night. Of course, day planner for your Friday, 63 to start, 82 by noon, 86 by 5, high temp right around 87. And for state, Friday night, football on tomorrow night. We're going to hold onto the decent weather, 83 by kickoff of most games, 78 by halftime, clear skies. If you're heading out to any high school football games, the weather looks fantastic. All right, 87 tomorrow, 89 on Saturday, 80 on Sunday with a few morning showers and a little bit cooler early next week. Look at those overnight lows. I know you like the cooler temps, down to 54 by Monday morning.
What's that supposed to mean? Just because I was born in Canada, I like cooler temperatures?
Yeah, it's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. We'll see you a little bit, man.
Right.
Thanks so much. Coming up, a trip to Vegas.
A Nevada politician charged with stabbing a reporter to death. I'm Mike Tobin in Chicago. Details coming up.
Politician in Las Vegas accused of killing a journalist, investigating him for a story. Fox News senior correspondent Mike Tobin has this story from Chicago.
A Las Vegas elected official charged with murder Thursday after police say they linked him in the fatal stabbing of a newspaper investigative reporter, Jeff Gehrman. The killing taking place September 2nd.
On that morning, he approached Mr. Gehrman's home and went to the side of the house. And ultimately, an altercation took place between the suspect and the victim.
The suspect, Clark County Public Administrator Robert "Rob" Tellis, was taken out of his home Wednesday with self-inflicted wounds after a 12-hour standoff. The injury was non-life-threatening. During a press conference, police said multiple pieces of evidence they recovered linked Tellis to the killing, including a getaway car, shoes, and a hat seen on surveillance camera the day of the murder.
As you can see, there's apparent blood on the shoes, and the shoes were cut, likely in a manner to try to destroy evidence. In addition to the shoes, we recovered a straw hat that was also cut in a manner that was likely to destroy the evidence.
Tellis, a Democrat elected back in 2018, lost a June primary after he was the focus of investigative stories by Gehrman. According to police, it is still unclear what the motive for the fatal incident is, but officers say they are evaluating every single lead and every theory.
The killing of a journalist is particularly troublesome. We hope the arrest of Tellis and his subsequent prosecution will ultimately provide a sense of justice for our community and Mr. Gehrman's family.
Robert Tellis is being held in custody without bail. In Chicago, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
Still ahead, a different way to fight crime.
A growing number of police departments are embracing mobile technology, but they're having a tough time getting the word out to the general public. I'm Eben Brown in Miami. I'll have that story straight ahead.
Potential relief for drivers at the pump as oil prices continue that tumble. U.S. oil traded at $82.41 a barrel yesterday. That's the lowest price since January. This coming after OPEC and its allies cut production to support prices. Analysts say concerns about the world economy could also be a factor in the drop. According to AAA, the average cost for a gallon of regular gasoline is $3.76. While we're still hearing calls to defund the police from some communities, a growing number of public safety agencies turning to high-tech tools like mobile apps to help streamline the job for cops in the field. Fox's Evan Brown has more in this edition of our Fox on Tech series.
Tensions between civilians and police are still high in some communities, but despite the continuing cries to defund the police, a new survey by the public safety software company Mark 43 shows most Americans feel the opposite. 72% say they want police to have more resources, and increasing spending on tech solutions might be the way to bridge that gap.
They can leverage all of this mobile technology that they have, remain in the field, get information more quickly.
That information flow is now managed in many cities by mobile apps developed by Mark 43, like a dispatch tool giving police a better sense of what they're walking into when responding to a call.
They could know exactly where they have to get to. They could see the route that they have to take through the city. And then they can also maybe get a little bit of a preview of what kind of situation they're going to be dealing with.
But the company's poll also shows about a third of Americans still don't understand cops use their phones for everything from data entry to dispatch, creating a misconception leading to mistrust.
In reality, a lot of those police officers are actually spending a lot of time doing things like communicating with other police officers, getting important information from headquarters.
Most agencies say they expect in-field technology to expand in the coming years, leading to improved policing and hopefully more trust in law enforcement.
We've actually seen arrest reporting times get driven down by about 50%. We've seen offense reporting times get driven down by about 80%, making sure that they're back in the field serving their communities.
Now, law enforcement agencies worldwide are expected to spend $18 billion on new technology next year. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
And up next, going to hear about this ancient animal and why its recent discovery is so important. Look at this. Researchers have identified the world's oldest mammal, and it's not a human. Good grief, look at that thing. This is an illustration of the small, shrew-like creature that scientists believe walked the earth some 225 million years ago. They say the animal predates what they thought was the earliest mammal by about 20 million years. The creature was only around 8 inches long. 8 inches long! Wouldn't want to mess with it, though. Lived at the same time as some of the oldest dinosaurs. Scientists stated the creature using fossils of hard tissues, things like bones and teeth. Yeah, you see that dinosaur on the right there? He's like, I'm getting out of here. This thing is freaky. Too freaky for me. Goodness. 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Since the tornado hit the city of Parsons 22 years ago, the city has not been this full with businesses. I'm Janna Hautala with the story.
Plus, going to learn how some local chambers of commerce are helping businesses get those remaining COVID relief funds. Since the tornado hit the city of Parsons, Kansas 22 years ago, the city has been gaining more and more stores on Main Street and is now at almost 100% capacity. KOAM's Untitled talked with city officials and some store owners about this big achievement.
The city cannot remember when they have been this full with businesses on the main street.
I teased my boss about wanting to just put my office down here right out on Main Street. I would see all the people I need to see. This whole community revolves around this, the heart of the community. So you really get to see everybody you would do businesses as you're down here on Main Street. That's the best thing about it.
Zaleski praises how businesses that have been there for years have created a great foundation for this to happen. One of them being the Bleacher Gear.
You want to have a place where there's a good grouping of stores, so you know, if someone wants to do some Christmas shopping, they can come down and walk around or whatever, so that's a big deal.
All the businesses here support each other. When a new one comes in, the old ones make sure that they are welcomed.
I met David and his dog. I don't know whether you met Quigley or not, but anyway, you know, they were out just walking around, and you know, we try and be as welcoming as we can.
A new cigar store owner from Overland Park was warmly welcomed to the community.
I specifically wanted to find a small town to live in and get to know and enjoy. Love the fact that everything's so close. Everybody knows everyone, and it's a close-knit, friendly community.
The other store owners have even helped him to furnish his store.
We do support one another, look out for one another, and everybody treats one another like a neighbor more than like a store owner.
Being at 100% capacity is not the end, as the city wants to use the location as a foundation to continue building on.
We'll continue to look for new, exciting, but also traffic-driving businesses to come down here to support the businesses that are already here.
In Parsons, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Now, a business that recently left Main Street was replaced almost immediately. Disc golf has been a growing sport since the early 1970s, and Parsons wants to bring the competition to town. With 2 courses to play from, beginner to pros, Parsons has options for all ages. Toland Creek course was put in last year, and Forest Park is in the process of getting new baskets for beginners. Disc golf follows the similar rules to golf with disc, from putters to drives.
Behind me, we got one of the original baskets that was installed here in the late 80s when this course was first put into the ground. And we are updating to some modern baskets that are approved for PDGA play in tournaments sanctioned.
This Saturday, September 10th at Tolan Creek in Parsons, MD Disc Golf is hosting a disc golf fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network Hospital. During the winter storm in February of 2021, temperatures dropped to extreme lows, causing elevated demand on the power grid across the Midwest. Then we began hearing about this Southwest Power Pool. Remember that word? Remember that name? Southwest Power Pool. And they told utilities to issue rolling blackouts to try to reducing demand. In tonight's final Power to the People report, KOAM's Chris Warner takes a look at what the Southwest Power Pool is and why it can tell our local utility providers what to do.
Who can forget these images of the winter storm in February of 2021? The bitter cold, the heavy snow, and most importantly, the bitter cold. It pushed energy demand sky high across the Midwest as everyone tried to stay warm, and that stressed the power grid to its maximum. And that's when we started hearing about the Southwest Power Pool as it began issuing orders for rolling blackouts among member utilities locally. Until then, most people in the area had never heard of the Southwest Power Pool. Aaron Dole with Liberty Utilities says it's been around since 1941.
It started during wartime efforts to try to globally serve or regionally serve the needs for aluminum smelting. And there wasn't just enough power down in Arkansas, and so a group of utilities got together to figure out how to try to provide that for wartime efforts.
It continued to grow over the decades, now spanning from the Gulf Coast to the Canadian border. All of it linking utilities across the Midwest together to share energy.
We do what we call joint commitment and dispatch. So we buy all the energy we need to serve the loads of our customers from the Southwest Power Pool. Separately, we offer all of our generation in to the Southwest Power Pool as an optional sale. So the Southwest Power Pool is able to globally look at everybody's bids and offers and figure out the least cost, most reliable supply for the entire footprint.
Dole says sharing that energy is essential to keeping the lights on.
So if I have an outage and I don't have the most efficient generation to serve my load, others can supply it and vice versa. And so really it's just trying to optimize all of our assets together to be more efficient and more reliable.
Dole adds that without the pool, high demand situations could cause the utility provider to enter a forced blackout that could last weeks or potentially months.
But the reality is they are the backbone of making sure that we can reliably and efficiently serve our energy needs. If you have all the different utilities, municipalities, cooperatives, all looking out for themselves, you're not going to end up in a best case scenario, especially when you're stressing weather to the extreme like we did during Storm Erie.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Dole says thanks to the cooperative efforts of the Southwest Power Pool, they're able to keep the lights on even if a local power plant were to shut down or have a system failure. Local bank today gave out big grants to area organizations. BMO Trust and Custody Services handed out more than $550,000 in grants to groups in southeast Kansas. It came from the Pritchett Trust Grants, which was set up in 1994 in honor of long-term Pittsburgh residents William and Kathleen Pritchett. Employee Retention Credit is a program the federal government established to help businesses with the cost of keeping staff employed. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce and the Carthage Chamber of Commerce are offering two different opportunities for individuals to learn about ERC. These include how your business can get up to $26,000 per employee in COVID relief funds and how to find a qualified party to assist in obtaining it.
To qualify for this credit, you have to be a business or a nonprofit, and you have to have employees. And you had to have them during 20 and 21. And there's some other qualifications too, and they can get kind of complicated. But what we're encouraging people is, if you have at least 5 employees that are not family members, we think you should talk to someone. And a lot of firms do a free consult, so 15, 20 minutes, and you can find out if you might qualify for this or not.
Carthage Chamber of Commerce is going to host a session next Tuesday. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Title IX, and MSSU is celebrating it with a panel discussion regarding the milestone, gender equality law and its impact. Title IX protects people from discrimination based on sex in education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. One panelist says the law has been very impactful.
We've gotten to a point 50 years later where a lot of people might take it for granted that women are participating in athletics, that we have female airline pilots, that we have female doctors, female attorneys, and it's never a bad idea to go back and review how we got where we are today.
Title IX was passed in the summer of 1972. A bit later, sharing the hurt and strength.
It's a tragic bond survivors wish they didn't share. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at the messages former Sandy Hook students are sharing with survivors from Robb Elementary as they begin the new school year. That's straight ahead.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice day for us today, all week long, since we had some showers and thunderstorms on Sunday. We've had very nice late summertime weather, highs mainly upper 80s to near 90, and humidity hasn't been that bad. Here's a nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, Seneca, Missouri. We do have some rain chances sneaking back into the forecast, not till the weekend. And I really don't think it's going to affect any outdoor activities very much, which is good news. Let's start Saturday morning. Nice warm up. We're going to warm through the 70s, 80s, pushing 90. Some showers, some thunderstorms, far northwestern counties late in the day. But most of the region, if you have outdoor activities, it looks okay on Saturday. As we get into Saturday evening into the overnight hours, scattered showers. Mainly our northern counties. Here's 10:30 p.m. Let's go into Sunday morning. Light showers across the region. And I think by mid-morning on Sunday, most of this is going to rotate out. Then we get the northerly air, a little bit cooler air. It's actually going to be almost fallish across the region, so it's going to feel pretty fantastic. Now, until that occurs, we have another pretty hot day. Relatively, once again, as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Mid-80s on the Missouri side today. Of course, lower 90s, Chanute, Parsons, Neodesha. Now it's not bad. 72 in Stockton, 70 at Grand Lake, Pitt at 73. Chanute is sitting at about 78 degrees. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline. Currently outside, 73. Easterly winds, light humidity at 68%. We have clear skies. In fact, the entire Central Plains, not much going on. We can head down across Baja, California. Here's Hurricane K. Look how close it is to southern parts of California. And then here's our next storm system that we'll start to watch as we head into the weekend. So let's go through time. Let's check out your Friday. We're going to start the day lower 60s. Looks pretty good. Light southerly wind throughout the day. Quick warm up. Lower 80s by noon. And then by late afternoon, upper 80s to near 90 degrees. A few clouds try to sneak in tomorrow night and then into Saturday morning, and then most of Saturday we heat right back up. As you can see, those showers and thunderstorms increasing to our northwest. Day planner for you tomorrow, 63, plenty of sunshine to start, 86 by 5, high temp of 87 degrees. So it's time for 4-state Friday night football. Check this out, 83 by kickoff, 78 by halftime. We'll drop into lower 70s by the time all the games end, and the weather just about perfect. 87 tomorrow, 89 Saturday, some morning showers Sunday. Overnight lows down into the 50s, so very pleasant to start next week.
Good weather, not football weather, though. To me, football weather is...
It's a little warm. It's
Yeah.
September, dude.
I
Give us some
know.
time.
Cooler, though, right?
Yeah.
Doug Hetty, thank you so much, as always. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with KOAM Skywatch Weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store, also the Google Play Store. If you have an Android phone, all you have to do is search for KOAM Skywatch Weather app. A new large French study links higher artificial sweetener consumption with increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Researchers looked at data on more than 100,000 people, and they say these food additives should not be considered a healthy or safe alternative to sugar. Coming up in sports, Pittsburgh State Gorillas aiming to knock off top 15 in the country, plus the Nevada Tigers hitting the field against East Newton, looking for a 3-0 start to their season. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more next.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas are on the road tonight for the first time this season. The Gorillas have a tough one, hitting the road to Kearney, Nebraska to face the 11th ranked Lopers. Now, both of these teams are 1-0 coming into the night. This game has been great. It's 28-28 with under 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Wide receiver Devin Garrison, 5 catches, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns for Pitt State. Now after this one, the Gorillas will be back home in week 3, hosting Northeastern State on the 17th. Well, the Nevada Tigers are off to a hot start this football season. The Tigers are 2-0 in the first 2 games, outscoring their opponents a combined 96-14. Now tonight, Nevada hosts a little Thursday night action against the East Newton Patriots. East Newton trying for their first win of the fall. The first Tigers possession, Cade Beshore connects with Avius Stedman. Gets to the outside, in for the score. And after a fumble recovery, Nevada does damage Jordan Johnson. Going up the middle, touchdown Tigers. It's now 13-0. Later in the first, not much for long. They got the ball not for long. Tyler Longobardi snatches it out of the air for the interception. Nevada cashes in with a long touchdown by Drew Beechler. The second quarter, Tigers stay rolling. Handoff to Case Sanderson. He battles his way in for 6 and then threatening once again. Beshore airs it out. Longobardi lays out for the touchdown. Nevada keeps East Newton off the board the whole way through. 68-0 the final. The Kansas City Chiefs kick off the season on Sunday afternoon against the Arizona Cardinals. That's going to be a bit of a new look offense with the loss of wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Now, of course, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they're still there, but this season, Kansas City will rely on a handful of new and young players.
We have a very experienced coaching staff that's done an outstanding job of working with these guys. And the unknown is the unknown. So the thing that I always tell our guys is, ideally, we would love to be perfect in everything that we do. But perfection is not reality. So one thing I want to see is how our guys react to adversity and how we handle those situations. Because there's ebb and flows throughout the course of the game. And the thing is, if we can weather those storms, we're going to find a way to grow together and be successful.
The St. Louis Cardinals finish up their 4-game series with the Washington Nationals tonight. The Cards are aiming to take the series after winning 2 of the first 3. And this game is the final game of a 7-game homestand for St. Louis. Yadier Molina had a nice day in the second inning. Crushes this one to Big Mac land out there and left. 2-run shot. Cardinals take a 3-1 lead. Top of the 4th, now 3-2, Nolan Arenado fields the grounder, slides head first to beat Nelson Cruz to the bag. Nice defense there from Arenado. Now to the 4th, we're going back to Yadier Molina. Goes deep down the line, actually stays fair, clears the wall. At that point, game is tied at 4. Then the Nationals pull away. Cesar Hernandez sends one to the corner here for the double. Nats get 6 runs in the final 3 innings. They pull away to beat the Cardinals 11-6. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
They are saints apart, but a tragic bond connects the survivors of the Sandy Hook and Robb Elementary mass shootings. Now, in an interview with Associated Press, former Sandy Hook students are sharing messages of strength with the young survivors in Uvalde, Texas, as they begin the new school year. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez reports.
I thought that the kid that was closest to the wall was going to get shot first.
Almost a decade later, and survivors of the Sandy Hook massacre continue reliving the horrors from December 14th, 2012, when a gunman stormed the Newtown, Connecticut elementary school and killed 20 students and 6 teachers.
I remember looking at my teacher's face and how just terrified she was.
Their experiences strikingly similar to the survivors of the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School, when a gunman entered the school in Uvalde, Texas, and killed 19 students and 2 teachers back in May.
Not feel shame about where you are in your healing process.
And as students across Uvalde begin the new school year, just months after the tragedy, Sandy Hook survivors say they understand their suffering.
You live with survivor's guilt and wondering how, you made it out and they didn't.
While sharing strategies about how they cope with the ongoing distress they still feel so many years later.
Find comfort in, your loved ones, especially classmates, because they have that shared trauma. Don't bottle things up, talk to your family, your friends, because it's so important to talk this stuff through.
Don't compare yourself to others. Don't feel invalid because someone may have it worse.
Robb Elementary is permanently closed. Many survivors are now attending classes at other schools across the Uvalde School District. More than 100 students, though, feel it's not safe to go back to school just yet and will be doing remote learning this semester. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
All right, coming up, going to check out some new movies now available to watch this weekend, both in theaters and at home. A couple of horror films head to the theaters this week, starting scary movie season early, while a family-friendly classic reimagined is part of what's streaming at home. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a look at this week's new releases.
Why don't you just crash here?
New in theaters, Georgina Campbell, Justin Long, and Bill Skarsgård lead the horror flick Barbarian. The story follows a woman whose rental house is double booked, so she decides to spend the night anyway, and terrifying twists take off from there.
I'm just not very good at telling stories.
Long does scary movie double duty. His film House of Darkness with Kate Bosworth is also in theaters, then on demand and digital next week. The thriller is about a guy who takes a woman he met at a bar home to her secluded estate, where flirtation turns dark and sinister quickly.
I saw you, I felt something that I've never felt before.
Emma Roberts and Thomas Mann bring a rom-com option with About Fate in select theaters and on digital. The two play strangers searching for love whose paths cross on New Year's Eve. Disney Plus adds the Robert Zemeckis live-action Pinocchio with Tom Hanks, Cynthia Erivo, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and more in its star-filled cast.
This sounds like a fight.
Netflix has End of the Road with Queen Latifah and Chris Ludacris Bridges, about a mom and her family traveling across the country who witness a murder then end up on the run from the killer.
Cobra Kai now has more students than ever before.
The streamer also returns to the Valley with Cobra Kai Season 5, where alliances and rivalries continue and more friends from Karate Kid past join in.
I find that a little kindness goes a long way.
This season expands outside of the dojo even more, while still upping the ante on those action-packed fight scenes and bringing another very easy-to-binge watch next round. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of a baby antelope at the Oregon Zoo. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.